Hey guys, what's up? I was asked to make a video talking more in detail about the problem with the night maps on Peril of the Grounds. In my previous video, I showed the situation that we have with the Predator Cloak while the fireteam uses night vision, which I didn't even know was this bad. Like I noticed after the October update, the night vision, the graphics, there was like this whole graphics update, whatever. But I was noticing that with the night vision that people had complained, it was much better now, and not just better overall just to see the maps in night maps, but it was also much easier to see the predator, to spot the predator. The predator just while it's cloaked, it seems to be glowing more. Like I could see predator's cloak or the cloak across the map, while in day maps there's a certain distance, which after a certain distance you won't be able to see the predator cloaked, like it becomes completely visible. But with the night maps it doesn't appear to be the case, and from the looks of it from my last video, the predator cloak while the fireteam uses night vision, the predator is like white, is like completely bright, you know. It's like you can see the silhouette very clearly. So in those situations it's better to not use cloak at all. Like what's the point of having this cloaking technology which is supposed to help with camouflage to be able to sneak on the fireteam if it actually does the exact opposite? I think the predator not using cloak at all would have actually helped in this situation, but the cloak while the fireteam uses night vision now, it's just like you can completely see the silhouette of the predator. It's like glowing, it's like very bright. And at this point, stealth in this game was never really that good because of all the noise that the predator makes. The predator makes noise on pretty much anything that it does, like any kind of movement, bumping, jumping. You're gonna hear the predator, you're gonna hear him climbing trees, making clicking noises, changing weapons, like these sounds of the weapons, the sounds of killing. A lot of people, it's one of the reasons why people think that a lot of fighting players are hacking. Oh, how do you know that I was there? How do you know that I was healing there? Because you just make too much noise. The predator makes so much noise. And this, not just that, in night maps everything is just worse, which is all come down with the problem with the night maps. Ever since night maps were implemented into this game, it just became like predator on hard mode. The game balance on this game had always favored the fireteam, and in night maps is like even worse. It's like a worse version of the game balance wise. I know that some of the night maps can look cool graphics wise, but when you take a look at the balance and see how the game actually works in practice, which is something that the developers don't pay any attention to, it's just terrible for the predator. It comes down to the fact that for the fireteam it's much easier to spot the predator, to track him down and hunt him down, than it is for the predator to do that. For the predator is actually much harder. It's harder for you to spot the fireteam, to be able to find them. For the fireteam, they can hide in night maps much easier. For the predator, you are kind of forced to use something like protection so you don't lose your mask, because you can see the fireteam overall okay while using thermal vision, but if you lose your mask, it's over. Like you can't spot them well. They can hide just way too well for you. While with the predator, watching the predator has the fireteam, the predator stands out while he's being cloaked, also because of all the noise that he makes. So for the fireteam, it's just much easier to spot the predator. Like in night maps, even if he's not cloaked, a lot of the predator classes, they have like bright colors. They have like just have like some lightning on their armor. So cloaked or not cloaked, you can see the predator very easy. And then you add this spotting mechanic, which makes the predator like you have like the green marker of the predator, and also like it's outlined in red. And in night maps, it stands out much more. Same thing with bleeding predators. If the predator is hurt and is bleeding, he's gonna be like a glowing stick into the jungle, just jumping. Like it's so easy to track predators that are injured and are trying like to hunt, to run away, to heal and to try to get back to the fireteam. The fireteam can easily track them down, because if the predator like is low in energy, he won't be able to be cloaked. Even if he's cloaked, you can still spot and see him well, but if he's not cloaked, he's gonna be glowing completely, so it's much easier to track him. Like in the day maps, because of the green jungle, the predator can kind of like hide between the jungle, because now, you know, he's not from a color that completely stands out into the environment, because everything is green. While in night maps, everything is black, and a dot of a glowing green really stands out. Same thing with the blood. Predator blood is much easier to track. You see a pool of green blood, you know the predator has been there, you know that he might be healing there. So everything is just worse for the predator. The predator cannot see the fighting as well. He is forced to use protection so he doesn't lose the mask, because if you lose the mask, you're done. Or you can just bring like tracker to always find the fighting. Tracker and protection are a good combination, but it's just that Fireteam can use whatever they want. Predators are kind of forced to use certain builds to be able to make up for this disadvantage of night maps. Also, something that I noticed since the October update, now when the Predator moves through the branches, you see like this kind of like dust moving around, like there's something in the air. This is like a new animation. I don't know what that was, but now it's even easier to track down the movement, because when the Predator moves in the branches, you see like dust moving around as he moves, you know. So overall, it's just really bad. And I tell people, and people don't realize, because it comes down to a lot of people that don't play on both sides. If you play on both sides and you see how things actually work in practice, you're gonna be able to see the mess that it is. You know, I was actually worse, because when they first implemented night maps, the Predator thermal vision was completely bright, super bright when they did that. So, I think that it is because when iPhonic made the night maps, they didn't test how it looked like from the Predator point of view. Like because they don't play as the Predator. The iPhonic never tests things properly. They don't play as the Predator. They only play a little bit of fighting and judge by their decisions on the game by doing that. So they have no idea how it's like, for like this mess that they have made. So night maps are just overall bad balance-wise. Like they are like the worst situations the Predators have to endure. And developers don't seem to realize this, despite all people mentioning this for the past, maybe like when they added night maps. Like it probably been like over 3 years by now. In over 3 years, people have been saying like night maps are terrible. And we tell people, they're like, oh, if you're winning like in night maps, it doesn't really mean much, because you're just playing against someone that is in a very big disadvantage against you. So how can you really consider this like be something to brag about? You know, the tracking of the Predator is much easier. The spotting, I mean, even sniping, like in my opinion, when I play night maps, just because of how easy it is to spot the Predator, the silhouette, he stands out so much that it's easier. It's like improves my aim, you know. It's more of like a mental thing, but it just feels for me much easier to snipe the Predator, and you just like everybody knows how high the damage of the sniper is in this game. So for all Predator players out there, just know that if you're gonna be playing in a night map, you are already in a disadvantage. Sure, maybe against most of the fighting players, you won't make that much difference because they are just that bad, and that's usually the kind of people that iPhonic balance this game around. But if you're playing good players and you decide to go in a night map, like, it can be very frustrating.